If only you would have bought Amazon back in '01, right? It was trading for just $6. As cheap as a Little Caesar's hot and sweaty pizza. And even better, buying it didn't guarantee you were sitting on the toilet an hour later. Today a share of Amazon is worth over $1,400, which means you would have had a return on your money of over 233 times. It was really a once-in-a-lifetime kind of investment. You're not gonna find another beautiful, bald-headed mogul like Jeff Bezos that ends up dominating commerce. Or are you? What if I told you there's a smarter, faster, hungrier version of Jeff Bezos out there? This guy is the founder and CEO of the third largest internet company in the world in terms of revenues. And he does it in an e-commerce market that's double the size of the US's and continues to grow twice as fast. China. And not only that, but this Chinese Jeff Bezos' e-commerce company is even more sophisticated than Amazon. Unlike Amazon, this company owns its entire logistics network, from its warehouses to its delivery guys that get that product to your front door. No UPS needed. And delivery doesn't take that standard 2 days like with Amazon either. Order something from this company and you usually get your stuff the same day. And that's because this super fast service is carried out by extremely agile delivery men who have all graduated from Kevin James' rigorous training program.
Yes, we gotta hurry.
Clearly this Chinese Bezos is killing it. But do you know what the final nail in the coffin is? The thing that really puts him above the American Bezos? He has hair. Today we're gonna dive into the fantastic long-term investment that is JD.com, along with its founder, Liu Qiandong. What? Did I butcher the name? But, alright, he likes to go by Richard anyway, so we'll stick to that, damn it. What's happening, traders and investors? AK from Fallible here. As I've already explained, JD.com is China's Amazon. It's a China-based online direct sales company. And its stock, well, it's one of those that you can just buy and forget about for the next 10 years. It checks all the boxes of a long-term compounding machine, just like Amazon in '01. But before we get into the metrics of why this is a great buy, we first got to go over the legend that is Liu Qiandong, aka Richard. Now I don't know why he likes to go by Richard, because everyone knows that anyone named Richard is a real dick. But anyway, Richard is a super competitive visionary, and he's the main reason JD is so attractive as an investment. What you gotta understand is that he came from nothing, and that's made him hungrier than any other CEO you'll ever meet. Back in rural China, Richard's family were poor peasant farmers. They were so poor that until Richard was 18, he only tasted meat once a year. Can you imagine growing up without chicken McNuggets? What kind of childhood is that? Instead, he said he grew up eating dry cornbread, which was so tough it made your throat bleed. That does not sound like a happy meal. Eventually Richard made it to college, and while he was getting his sociology degree, he was smart enough to teach himself computer programming. This happened to be during the time where everyone started needing coders, so he got real wealthy all of a sudden with his new skills. He got so rich that he ended up buying one of those old school brick cell phones for about $4 grand, which was a fortune back then. He was living it up Mike Douglas style.
This is your wake-up call, pal. Go to work.
Richard took all that money he was making and opened a small electronics shop which sold computer parts, which he eventually moved online to create JD.com. Now when JD first got started, Richard was the only guy there to do customer service. And there was so much of it that he started living and sleeping in his office. At night he would have his alarm clock wake him up every 2 hours so he could go and answer customers' questions online. Then he'd sleep for another 2 hours, wake up and do it again. Have you ever heard of another CEO doing that? Man, I just hope his setup was as nice as George's. And even today, after being worth almost $13 billion, Richard still pretty much lives in his office and works non-stop. The guy is an animal. It's that type of dedication that grew JD.com from a tiny electronics shop into a huge organization. They operate 210 warehouses in over 50 different cities with more than 120,000 employees. JD now controls over 18% of the online retail market in China and over 30% of the online business to consumer market. The company is expected to grow its gross merchandise volume by 47% this year, which is faster than both Amazon and Alibaba, which are both stuck in the 30% range. Now you probably heard about JD's #1 competitor Alibaba in the news a lot more than JD itself. A big reason for this is because while Richard is working non-stop, Alibaba's CEO Jack Ma is spending his time making as many headlines as possible. Now, even though I love that Jack Ma loves Michael Jackson as much as I do, I'd still rather have the CEO of the company I'm invested in working 24/7 like Richard. Because JD isn't on many people's radars, it's also very undervalued. The company only trades at 1.2 times sales, compared to the showboating Alibaba, which trades at 16 times sales. That makes it a real steal for investors like us. Another reason JD is so underpriced is because it doesn't report much profit. Instead, it takes that money and reinvests it back into growth, which is exactly what you want to see in a company. Alibaba reports much larger profits than JD, but at the same time, some of their accounting is a little suspect, and they're probably overstating their numbers. JD is also ranked as the #1 most trusted e-commerce site in China. Alibaba, on the other hand, is known for all the counterfeits they sell on their site. So really what we have here with JD is the fast-growing company in the world's fastest-growing consumer market. And on top of that, it's being led by a visionary founder who's constantly reinvesting into growth. And the best part is that the stock is trading at a fraction of its competitors. This is a fantastic opportunity the rest of the market is missing. And once it finally wakes up to how valuable JD really is, we should see its stock price multiply many times over. Now, of course, before you invest, you should do your own research and see how JD would fit into your own investment strategy. But I hope this video gave you a nice little head start. If you want to be alerted to more big potential plays like JD, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that little bell so you get notifications when new videos are released. And please share this video with your family and friends so they're not kicking themselves because they missed the next Amazon. There's a lot of money to be made for all of us with this one. Bye.
Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still remain.